Imagine waking up one day and realizing the life you've built feels like a well-decorated prison. You have the job, the phone, the coffee with your name spelled right. You laugh on cue, reply to texts, scroll through curated lives, and convince yourself that this, whatever this is, must be what happiness feels like. And yet, there's a quiet ache under everything, a kind of hollow joy. You smile, but you don't feel it in your bones. You rest, but you're never at peace. You win, and still feel like you've lost something you can't name. Why does a life that looks happy still feel so unbearably empty? We've been taught that happiness is a destination, a prize we earn once we've achieved the right balance of success, love, health, and validation. But here's the trap. The closer we get to that illusion, the more we feel it slipping through our fingers. Maybe it's not you that's broken. Maybe it's the definition of happiness you've been given. A definition built by marketers, sold through screens, reinforced by society, and whispered into your subconscious before you even knew how to question it. The more desperately you chase happiness in the way you were taught, the more likely you are to never truly feel it. What if happiness isn't about adding more to your life, but removing everything that was never yours to begin with? What if most people aren't unhappy because they failed, but because they succeeded at building a life that never truly mattered? You want to know why most people will never find true happiness? Because they're not looking for truth. They're looking for comfort that feels like truth. And those two are rarely the same. Let's expose the mechanisms, psychological, philosophical, cultural, that keep us chasing what we'll never catch. The root of this crisis lies not in our lack of effort, but in a deep philosophical lie that happiness is external. Ancient Stoics, like Epictetus, taught that we suffer not because of events, but because of how we interpret them. Carl Jung warned us that the parts of ourselves we refuse to confront, our shadows, silently rule our lives. But in today's culture, we are taught the opposite: suppress the shadow, pursue the reward. The hidden problem is this: we confuse stimulation with satisfaction. We mistake dopamine spikes from screens, likes, consumption, and approval as signs of meaning. But as Viktor Frankl once said, when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. Our psychological wiring, shaped over thousands of years, evolved to survive hardship, not to handle abundance. And now, surrounded by comfort and endless choices, our ancient instincts malfunction. This is why modern life often feels unbearable, despite its convenience. Society sells us the image of happiness, a perfect body, partner, home, lifestyle. It becomes a mirror we're constantly failing to reflect. Even worse, we become addicted to avoidance. We run from boredom, silence, loneliness. But what if those were the very spaces where truth lives? We fear facing the shadow because we suspect the truth will ask us to change. And change is terrifying. So we pretend, we buy, we scroll, we stay busy, and all the while, happiness slips further from view. The consequences of this illusion are not loud, they're quiet, deadly in their subtlety. It begins with numbness, a disconnection from your own feelings. You smile out of habit. You cry in private and call it weakness. You no longer know what you want, only what you're supposed to want. You measure your worth in metrics, followers, income, attention, and in doing so, you hand your self-worth to people who do not even know you. Slowly, you become a ghost in your own life, existing but not living, performing but not feeling. This is how comfort kills the soul. Not with pain, but with quiet suffocation. It wraps you in softness while hollowing you from the inside. And then come the consequences. Depression that seems to come from nowhere. Anxiety in moments that should be joyful. Chronic fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix. A deep, aching sense of, is this all there is? These are not signs of failure. They are symptoms of a life disconnected from meaning. When we avoid pain at all costs, we also avoid growth. When we seek validation from the world, we lose the compass within. When we choose ease over honesty, we betray our own soul. Breaking free begins with one radical act. Tell yourself the truth, that you're not happy, that you're tired of pretending, that the life you were told to chase is not the one you want to live. Then comes the real rebellion, choosing discomfort. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." To examine your life means facing what hurts, what's broken, what you've buried. It means looking in the mirror without flinching. Real happiness demands real courage. Courage to sit in silence without distraction. Question beliefs you were raised with. End relationships that feel safe but kill your spirit. Choose purpose over popularity. Do hard things not because they feel good, but because they make you good. You must unlearn the idea that peace comes from comfort. It doesn't. Peace comes from alignment, from living a life that reflects your deepest truths. This may look like failure to the world, but it will feel like coming home to yourself. Section 5. The ultimate truth. The final, most powerful realization here is the final truth. Happiness is not a feeling. It is a form of freedom. The freedom to be fully you without fear. The freedom to let go of what no longer serves you. The freedom to say, "I am enough," even when the world says otherwise. True happiness isn't loud. It's not perfect. It's not performative. It's quiet, still rooted. It's knowing who you are in a world that profits from your confusion. It's waking up and feeling at peace with your choices. Not because they were easy, but because they were real. It's the inner smile that comes when you realize you no longer need to run. So ask yourself, what am I chasing? What am I hiding from? Who am I performing for? And most importantly, who could I become if I stopped all of that? The truth is, most people will never find happiness, because happiness requires becoming someone they've never dared to be. Free, honest, awake, not perfect, not invincible, but whole. And that, my friends, is worth everything.